Hello, Accelerated Math students. Today we are going to be looking at lesson 4.5, graphing in standard form. And the big difference is standard form. You're used to seeing y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. But now, oops, I'm going to have to learn how to spell intercept form. But now we're going to talk about standard form. So this is a second equation that we're going to have to know how to graph. So let's take a look at our first example. We're not going to work with a partner. We're going to do this one all together. You sold a total of $16 worth of tickets to a school concert. You lost track of how many of each type of ticket you sold. If you look over here, you see that you sold adult tickets and student tickets. Standard form, we're going to be dealing with two things, and I'm literally going to call them thing number 1 and thing number 2. And we're also going to have a total. So our adult tickets is thing number 1. And we don't know how many adult tickets, so we're going to use X. And we know that they are $4 a piece. So $4 times how many tickets? And we're going to add that to this part, which is going to be thing number 2. And that's going to be student tickets. We're going to call that Y. And those were $2 a piece. So $2 times the number of student tickets. This is going to equal our total. And that's our $16 worth of tickets. So this is our standard form. We have thing number 1 plus thing number 2 equals a total. And we work with this the same way that we did our slope-intercept form. X represent the number of adult tickets. Y, write an equation. We already did that, so it was 4x plus 2y equals 16. We could do a table. If tickets are $4 a piece for adults, we would buy 4 of them to get 16. That means 0 student tickets. If we bought 3 adult tickets, 4 of them would be 16. 3 of them would be 12. So then we would have 4 more dollars, which is 2 student tickets. Down to 2, that would give us $8. So we need another $8. That would give us 4 student tickets at $2 a piece. 1 adult ticket would give us $4, so we would need 12. That would give us 6 student tickets at $2 a piece. And if we didn't buy any adult tickets, then we need all $16, $8 per ticket, $2 a ticket, or 8 tickets at $2 a piece would give us our 16. So we have a table, so we would graph it. At 0, we're going to put adult tickets down here at the bottom. We're going to put student tickets over here on the side. 0 adult tickets, we would be buying 8 student tickets. 1 adult ticket, we would be buying 6. 4, 2, and 0 here. And we have our linear equation. There it is, right there. So if you remember how many adult tickets you sold, can you determine how many student tickets you sold? Yes, because we have the total. Let's try it again with cheese. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Here's thing number 1. Here's thing number 2. Here's the total. And we are going to get pretty much the exact same equation. How many pounds of Swiss cheese? It's $4 a pound, so it would be 4x for Swiss cheese, plus cheddar is $2 a pound. That'd be 2y, and again, we bought $16 worth of cheese, so it would be the same thing. If you sold 2 pounds of cheddar cheese, how many pounds of Swiss cheese did you sell? So if we use our equation, 4x plus 2y equals 16, 2 pounds of cheddar cheese, we plug in our 2, 4x equals 2 times 2, we get 4x plus 4 equals 16. I'm going to subtract 4 from each side. So I get 4x equals 12, divide by 4, x equals 3. But that's not what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing something else, but shows that you can use it to figure it out. Does the value of 2.5 make sense in the context of this problem? Can we buy 2.5 pounds of cheese? Yes, here we can. But for the previous problem, could we buy 2.5 tickets? No, that you could not. So you have to think about the context that the problem is in. So this I want in your notes, please. Standard form of linear equation. The standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c, where a and b are not both zeros. So ax plus by equals c. And again, this is going to be thing number 1. The by is going to be thing number 2. And c is going to be the total. So we're going to learn how to graph them 2 different ways. We're going to learn how to graph standard form with slope-intercept form and then with intercepts. So we're going to start with slope-intercept form. And I'm not going to do all the graphing because you already know how to do it, but we are going to do the work. So graph negative 2x plus 3y equals a negative 6. You are going to change to slope-intercept form. So we are going to, they're starting with a negative 2x. We're going to add 2x to both sides. So I get 3y. Now, slope-intercept form, mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So I got my y. I'm going to put my 2x first minus 6. So I have y equals mx plus b. I want my y by itself, so I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide this whole side by 3. Now, we've done this before, but now we're going to simplify. I get y by itself. I'm going to simplify 2x divided by 3. So I'm going to pull the 2 out, and I'm going to use it as a fraction. 2/3 x, so here's my slope, minus, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So my equation, y equals mx plus 2, plus b. And we can graph this. So our y-intercept is negative 2, so that'd be right here. And our slope is 2/3, so 2 up, 3 to the right. 2 up, 3 to the right. There's our next point. 2 up, 3 to the right. 2 up, 3 to the right. And eventually we'll be able to draw a straight line all the way through. So it would look something like that. That's using slope-intercept form. Now, one thing that is going to happen is sometimes you are going to get fractions. One thing that I recommend doing is getting rid of the fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole equation. My denominators here are 4. I'm going to multiply it by 4. And it's kind of like the distributive property. 4 times 1/4, that gives me 1x. Plus 3y. 4 times 3/4 gives me 3. 4 times 1 gives me 4. Now I've gotten rid of all my fractions. And I can subtract 1x from both sides. So I get 3y equals, I'm going to put my minus 1x or negative 1x first. And it's a positive 4, so I'm going to write plus 4. Y equals mx plus b. I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide by 3. Divide by 3 on this side. This leaves y by itself. Again, I'm going to pull out the fraction, so I get a negative 1/3 x. And I'm going to leave this as an improper fraction as well. This is my y-intercept. It's basically 1 1/3. But I have my slope. This would be plus. Sorry, forgot that. But I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. So let's try this one. Let's multiply this whole problem. I have a 3, a 6, and a 3. I'm going to multiply it by a 6. So I get 6 times 1/3, so 1/3 times 6 over 1. That gives me 2x. A third of 6 is 2, minus 6 times the 1/6 would just give me 1y. And then 6 times a negative 2/3. If I do the math, and you are more than welcome to do the math, that's going to give you a negative 4. Notice all the fractions are gone. Subtract 2x from both sides. This is gone. It leaves me the negative 1y, and I'm going to leave that negative 1 there. Negative 2x plus b, plus or minus 4. Now I'm going to divide by that negative 1, and all that does is changes all the symbols. Instead of a negative y, it's now a positive y. Negative 2 divided by a negative 1 is a positive 2x. And that was this. And then a negative 4 divided by a negative 1 is a positive 4. So here's my slope-intercept form. My y-intercept and my slope, and I should be able to graph them. So let's go ahead and practice a couple. Feel free to pause the video and try them on your own first if you would like. But you're going to first change it to slope-intercept form and then graph it. So let's do number 1. I'm going to subtract the x from both sides. I get y equals negative 1x. There's a 1 in front of there. And it's a negative 2, so it would be a minus 2. Y equals negative 1x minus 2. Here's my y-intercept, negative 2. My slope is negative 1, so it's a negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. So down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. And if I kept on going, it would be something like that. I'm not going to draw my line, but you can see where it is going. It is a negative slope. It goes down, and the slope is 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1. Let's try the next one. Negative 1/2 x plus 2y equals 6. It's a negative half x, so I'm going to add a half an x. This cancels out, leaving me with 2y by itself. Mx plus b, 1/2 x, and it's a positive 6. Now, I'm going to divide by 2. This is going to get a little bit tricky here. 2's cancel out, leaves me with my y. Now, let's do 1/2 divided by 2. So 1/2 divided by 2 over 1. Divide fractions, stay, switch, flip. I get 1/4. So it would be 1/4 x. What's 6 divided by 2? Plus 3. My y-intercept is a positive 3. So here's my y-intercept. Now, 1/4 is my slope. So I'm going to go up 1 to the right 4. Up 1 to the right 4. And if I want to go the other way, down 1 to the left 4. Down 1 to the left 4. And so then I have my graph there. So once you change it to slope-intercept form, then you should be able to graph it. Again, let's try doing these using slope-intercept form, changing it to slope-intercept form. So I'm going to add 2/3 x to both sides. Now, this is a 0, so y equals just 2/3 x. I don't need the plus 0, but I could have it. So my y-intercept would be 0. My slope would be 2/3, so I'd go up 2 to the right 3, up 2 to the right 3, up 2 to the right 3. Or if I want to go to the other way, down 2 to the left 3, down 2 to the left 3. And there I have my graph. Number 4, 2x plus y equals 5. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. This cancels out. Y equals mx plus b, negative 2x plus 5. Already done. Y-intercept is a positive 5. Slope is a negative 2 over 1, so I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. And there I would have that line. Now, there's another. Feel free to pause the video and try this one. I'll do it quickly here. I'm going to subtract an x from both sides. So I get 3y equals a negative, and I'm going to put my 1x in there right away. Minus 3, divide by 3 on both sides. Y equals, I'm going to have a negative 1/3 x. I got a minus sign, so it's going to be minus 1. There's my y-intercept. Down 1 to the right 3, down 1 to the right 3, and I would keep on going. We can do a couple of things when we talk about intercepts with our graph. Our equation for this one is 1.5 x for the apples, it's kind of turned around, plus 60 cents y for the bananas, and we spent a total of $6. So graph the equation is the first thing they're asking us to do. So I'm going to subtract 1.5 x on both sides. So I get 6/10 y equals a negative 1.5 x plus 6. Divide by 6/10. So my equation, y equals, and I'm going to do a negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative, so I know my slope is going to be a negative. 1.5 divided by 6/10 gives me 2.5, and for now I'll leave it as a decimal. And then 6 divided by 6/10 gives me 10, and it's a positive 10. I forgot my x. There we go. So let's change this into a fraction. So 2.5, so it would be 2 1/2, would be 5/2. So y equals a negative 5/2x plus 10. So I'm going to do this in red so that you can see it through the blue writing. But my y-intercept is 10, and then I go down 5 to the right 2. 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 Whoops, not that one. And then down 5 to the right 2. Now, the reason we did this is because it's asking us to interpret the intercepts. What does this intercept mean? It's on the y-axis, so that means x is 0. So that means we are getting 0 apples. So our y-intercept means all bananas. Whatever y is, that's how many we buy if we just bought bananas. Down here, our x-intercept is the opposite, all apples. If we bought 0 bananas, this is how many apples we would be able to buy. This is kind of how we are going to talk about by solving these with intercepts. So now we're going to talk about our second way of graphing by using intercepts. A y-intercept, x is 0. An x-intercept, y is 0. I would recommend putting this into your notes when we graph a linear equation using intercepts. So let's plug in 0 for x. 2 times 0 minus y equals 8. This would basically be 0. So a negative y equals 8. So we would say a positive y then would be a negative 8. So our y-intercept is a negative 8, which would be down here. Now let's put our x-intercept. Our y is going to be 0. So 2x minus 0 equals 8. Well, nothing happens there. Divide by 2 on each side. X equals 4. So our x-intercept is 4. And we would just then take a ruler and connect those 2 points. That's all it is. Let's do the other one. For our y-intercept, x is 0. So I'm going to plug a 0 in here. That gives me 3y equals 6. Divide both sides by 3. Y equals 2. Here's our y-intercept. Do it again for y equals 0. So now we would have x plus 0 equals 6. This would cancel out. X is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we would connect those 2 points. Whoops. Those 2 points. Sorry about that, guys. Really bad writing there. That's what you do. You plug your zeros in and get an x-intercept and a y-intercept. Graph those two and connect the points. So your homework is 4.5 homework. It's problems 1 through 14 in GoFormative. Watch for the problems you are doing and not doing. Be careful. Look at the numbers that I typed in and what you need to do. You're going to be doing some problems where you just have to change them into slope-intercept form. Some problems where you're graphing. Some where you're just answering a question. There's some matching, so be careful. We are going to talk about this a little bit during class this week. So if you have questions, either message me or bring them to class. Have a great week.